Alright you guys, it's redemption day. If these cookies don't taste better, then I'm hanging it up. I'm not baking again. Alright you guys, dummy of the day. I've been sitting here waiting for these to cook, and right now it's down to 3 minutes, and I'm like, why isn't this hot? Well, because I didn't plug it in. Alright, so let's plug it in. Now it's on. So let's try this again, okay? Alright, back to 20 minutes. Hello everyone, thank you for joining me, Working Shopper. So today we're gonna have some samosas with garbanzo beans and some veggies. But first, let me show you the ugliest batch of cookies I ever made. I think these are uglier than the oatmeal date cookies I made. So this was the first batch, and this is from the second batch. Right. Here's a close-up. The toffee is still crunchy. They taste very healthy. They're not as light as regular cookies. Wow. They're rather heavy. Okay, here's the first batch. I'm not sure how I feel about them. I think it's the texture. I'm not sure why that texture worked for the brownies, and it didn't, but it doesn't work for the cookies. So this is dip for the samosas. I think I got this brand from Safeway. It tastes like restaurant quality samosas. It's the beginning of the month, so now it's grocery time. I'm gonna go back to see if they have any more of these. And this dip is so good you can use it with anything. This is the basic recipe: chocolate chip cookies and carrot cake. I'm not going to do the carrot cake today because I don't want to do any shredding. Cup of butter, but I'm gonna cut that butter in half. I'm gonna cut the sugar in half. I'm not using both white and brown sugar, but I'm gonna use like maybe a tablespoon of molasses. No, not a tablespoon, maybe half a tablespoon of molasses with some sugar. I don't have too much sugar left, but we use that. We're gonna use 2 eggs here. We're going to use some vanilla right there, and then we got the baking soda and salt right here. I'm not using too much of that because the butter is salted, and I have some Tony's caramel sea salt, so we're not using too much salt. I always crack my eggs first to make sure that they're good. I'm only going to use half of this because the chocolate also has oil in it. And I don't like biting into oily cookies. I'm doing this early in the morning at 3:30 because it's only 89 degrees right now. And this is the coolest that it's going to be today. With my stove, I usually cook at 400 degrees. I just noticed it cooks at a good time for 400, so I'm going to preheat the oven. Recipe calls for, in total, 2 cups of sugar. I am not using that much. I'm going to use This is a half cup. I'm only going to use a fourth. So that's all the sugar I'm going to use, a fourth cup of sugar. Put that in with the butter. And then just to get that brown sugar consistency, I'm going to use a little bit of molasses. Just a little bit, because molasses has a specific flavor that's very strong. So I'm just going to use a little bit of that just to get that brown sugar back in there. Okay, then we're going to add the vanilla. I never measure vanilla, I just put it in there. It's usually like a good, decent splash. Maybe a little bit more. That's it. Oh, that smells good. You know, the smell of vanilla always makes me happy. So here's where I made the mistake. I'm using way too much flour because I forgot how much coconut flour soaks up liquid. I probably should have used maybe 1.5 cup of the banana flour and then that half cup there of the coconut flour, and it would have been fine. And also, I probably should have soaked the coconut flour first, so by the time that I mixed it with the egg mixture, it would have already been creamy. And then the salt and baking soda. I'm just going to give that a quick stir. Then we're going to add that slowly into our butter and egg mixture. That sound was the stove. But unfortunately, when I started mixing it in, I saw that it was no way possible that I was going to get a creamy texture. And by the time that it was completely mixed in, the mixture was so dry. So this is it thoroughly mixed. And so I had to figure out how to compensate. I had some coconut milk. I probably should have used the whole can and then allowed that to soak before making the cookies. But I didn't think I would need the whole can, and so here you see me just pouring in half. I probably should have just put the whole can in. I was like, oh, I don't need that much. Big mistake, big mistake. I hope this works. Oh, no. Maybe just a little bit more. That's enough. Alright, so there we have it. There we have the cookie dough. And then I'm going to pound up some chocolate and add that. The taste is exactly what I want, because it tastes healthy. But the texture throws me off though. So these are officially going down in my books as the worst that I've ever baked. Even the chocolate doesn't help the texture. So unfortunately, I ran out of the banana flour. I only had maybe a little more than half cup, and so I had to use about 2 cups of the coconut flour, which you see here. This is a 16-ounce cup here. So that's like about 2 cups of coconut flour. And I was using water and the coconut milk to soak it. I figured the coconut milk would make it really creamy and add a little bit more fat without making it feel greasy. So I would have rather had 2 cups of banana flour and a half cup of coconut flour, but I had to reverse it due to this situation. So there you can see it's really creamy, and that works better when adding it to the egg mixture. And you'll see in a minute here, in a second here, how creamy it is when I stir it up. And that's the banana flour there. I added in a little bit first, mixed that in to make sure that it was going to be a good consistency, and then I added the rest in. And then this is the final consistency. This is what I used to make the first batch. For the second batch, I added about maybe a tablespoon more of coconut flour just to thicken it up. So it doesn't take much for that coconut flour. Like a little bit goes a long way. And here's the Tony's chocolate. I didn't have enough banana flour, so I had to use more coconut flour. And the first batch turned out like that, like pancakes. And so I added like a tablespoon maybe of more coconut flour, and so I got that texture right there. All I had was regular chocolate this time, so a few things are different. But anyway, my issue was the texture. So let's go ahead and see if the texture is better. This is the second batch here. And then this is from the first batch. Alright, let's try the first batch first. Much better texture. And it still tastes healthy. Well, actually, because the texture is toned down, the chocolate comes through more, so it doesn't taste as healthy as the previous batch. It doesn't taste as healthy as the first attempt. The key is to make sure you soak that coconut flour. Alright, here we go for this one here. If I hadn't run out of the banana flour, I would have used more banana flour. Because coconut flour, although it's good, you still taste the coconut. So the soaking helps to make the coconut smoother, but when you bake it, you still get that coconut texture. But if you're fine with that, it's all good. All right. I don't have to stop baking. All right, the camera's going to stop soon, so thank you guys for joining me. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that you had something delicious to eat as well and that your day is going great. I hope you're staying sane among all the insanity happening across the world. I will catch you in the next video. Bye.